It's early in the season. Gardening with Gutner is covering seedlings and cold crops with Master Gardener Tom Witwicky. Here's what we learned. It's very early spring. New England's finally starting to wake up, and it's time for you to get busy. We're at Master Gardener Tom Witwicky's awesome little greenhouse. Tom, first of all, it's so good to see you again.
Nice to see you,
Another
Todd.
season, and it looks like you're well on your way here.
Yeah, so most of these were, in fact, all of these were started inside under lights, and some of them just require a long time before they get mature, like onions are started in February.
Those are the onions right here?
These are the little onion seedlings.
Okay.
Violas also require a long time before bloom, so those were started early.
And anybody can pretty much do this, correct?
Oh yes, all you need is a good place to have the plants. A lot of people use you put them under lights. You can put them in a sunny windowsill.
Okay.
It's a little tricky in a windowsill because then you have to turn them and the plants could get leggy, but it can be done.
Obviously a little more work with seedlings, but you think the work is worth it, don't
There's
you?
a lot of advantages. One is the cost. Obviously less expensive to buy a seed packet.
I love the sound of
fully
that.
grown seeds. The other is the varieties that's available as a seed, whereas it may not be available, locally. Thirdly, the timing, because you can raise the seedlings for when you want to actually plant them in the garden. You don't have to rely on the greenhouse to make those available.
Good point. Okay.
And lastly, it's a lot of fun.
It is. What do you start with?
Yeah, let me demonstrate using a seedling tray. You fill it with a fairly fine mixture of coconut coir, perlite, and compost. And then what's important is that you want to be able to have good soil contact with the seeds. You want to cover them just briefly with
It's a real thin layer.
just a little bit, just a thin layer. And then finally, if you could do that, put them in a tray of water so that the mix is hydrated.
And it kind of absorbs it like a sponge?
It absorbs it from the bottom.
So you don't like watering from the top?
Well, watering from the top will displace the seeds, I find that's a much better way of getting consistent moisture. The first leaves that appear when the seed germinates is called the cotyledon.
Okay.
But you want to wait for that first true leaf to develop, and at that point you know that it has enough of a root ball to be able to transplant.
Great to know, great to know. All right, so how do we do the transplanting?
It's quite easy. In fact, the seeds are very hardy.
Really? They look so delicate.
They look so delicate, but I don't think I've ever lost a seedling transplanting this way.
Okay.
And so you basically use either a tool like this, which is a specialized tool.
Looks like a little tongue depressor.
Or you can use use a spoon or a knife or whatever,
Okay.
whatever is handy. And you basically just dig them out. And as you can see, it's quite it's quite delicate, but if you handle them by the leaf and not by the stem, it's what you want. Just place them in the container like this. Put a little mixture on top to do it, and that's all there is to it.
And you're all set.
When I'm done this tray, I'll give them a small watering to settle them
Just
in.
to keep them moist?
Yeah, exactly.
From there, they keep growing. Can you put them in the soil at that point, or
You could. In fact, some of these things will go directly in the soil.
Yeah.
For instance, like these parsley plants that I started earlier inside, those can go directly in the soil without going to a larger pot. But other things like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, you want them to be larger.
Okay.
So once this plant gets to a larger size, I'll pot it in this, grow it out finally, and then transplant it into the garden.
Speak about timing real quickly.
Yeah, the tender plants have to wait until settled weather. Traditionally, Memorial Day is the day around here.
That's a rule of thumb.
To wait for that. But things like lettuce and broccoli and onions, they can go out in late April.
Okay, we have our seedlings, but what can go in the garden first? Tom's going to show us his cold crops. Gardening with Gutner's back. It's a cold spring day. I've even got my gloves on. We're with Master Gardener Tom Witwicky. Tom, Master Gardener, you're probably thinking about gardening year-round, so you must be getting really excited about this season.
I am excited. It's a cold day, but I've been at this since February, so looking forward to the season.
If you've been at it since February, you probably have been in this here. This is your greenhouse, right?
It is.
All right, so you got stuff in there. Let's go check it out. Don't need the jacket. Don't need the gloves. We're in Tom's greenhouse where the temperature is a toasty 68 degrees. Tom, I like it in here. This is pretty much where you start all your plants, isn't it?
It is. I have annual flowers and vegetables, things like basil, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant.
These can't go outside yet though, right?
Oh no, not yet, no. But there are many things that can.
And do you have stuff going already?
Indeed. Let's go.
Let's go check it out. I like it. Wow. That's a big garden, Tom.
It is a big garden, but it's a labor of love.
Do you have a staff to help you?
I wish.
All right, your cold crop veggies are going. What's over here?
Well, it's definitely time to start peas, and these were direct seeded a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, they're just starting to come up. And over here, these are broccoli seedlings that I started, but you can also find them in the garden centers as well.
Yeah, they're filling up now, the garden centers. You can go start putting those directly in the ground at this point.
You can. They can take it pretty cold.
Okay. Tom, is this here a greenhouse too?
This is actually an unheated high tunnel.
Ah, interesting. Tom, I recognize some of these.
Yeah, so here we have radishes that we're eating now in our salads, cilantro, spinach, which we're also harvesting.
Nice. And over here, you've got traditional lettuces.
Yep, more lettuce, more cilantro, and arugula, also another cold weather crop.
Yum. But these can get outside right now, right?
Indeed, these don't have to be planted in a high tunnel. These can go directly in your garden. They're pretty cold tolerant.
And to see all the Gardening with Gutner segments, go to our New Center Maine YouTube channel or newcentermaine.com. And don't forget, get your growing going on Gardening with Gutner.